Hi, everyone, and welcome to the special simulcast of the Neil Haley Show and celebrity interviews live from the Grotto with Greg Hanna. Greg, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Happy New Year.
Happy New
How
Year
you
to you.
doing?
And then our guest today is Allison Angram, or we all know her as Nellie Olson, the bad girl from Little House on the Prairie. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. We had you on before, Allison, and I guess we
Yeah.
did like a skit that I put out on TikTok. But I want to just jump into specifically enough. We just continue to hear your star continues to rise, even though Little House has been gone for how long? Can you believe how much your character still remembered?
It's so bananas because like Little House is gone, yet not gone. It's the 50th anniversary. It's 2024. It is now 50 years since we made the show. It was 1974 when the show premiered. And you would think, okay, it did 50 years. The endless reruns, the reruns in other countries. We're having so many events this year. I'm at the Sierra Madre Playhouse this month, starting on the 19th, on January 19th for 2 weekends. And then it's all over the country because for some bizarre reason in the last 50 years people have just gotten more and more into watching Little House on the Prairie and hating me and hating me. Yes.
That's not nice. I got excited. I thought you said it was the 15-year anniversary. And I'm like, wow, I'm a lot younger than I thought I was because I watched
Yeah.
it when I was growing up.
I'm freaking out. How old am I? I'm like, wait, yeah, oh, not bad. Okay. Yeah, I'm 100. It's scary.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
and
so
that's that,
excited.
that's
Yeah.
the crazy thing, Greg, is about like Little House and these different shows. They continue to live on more than other shows that people aren't even watching TV anymore.
Wait, there's people, young people were not born when this thing was on. We're like, oh, I just started watching. You just started. It's just you just started. They're streaming it. They just started getting into it. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Wow. That's nuts. I have fond memories of that. We got together as a family and watched it, and it was fun times back then. It's a lot different than TV nowadays. Uh, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. It's just totally crazy. We had the school teacher on. Was it Charlotte Stewart? Is that her name?
Charlotte Stewart.
Yeah.
She is awesome. My friend
Yeah.
Charlotte played Miss Beadle on the show, the sweet, lovely, innocent teacher. And if you've read her book, wow, she's not. Uh, 2 words, Jim Morrison. Hi. Oh, hello. Yes.
And I think that the greatest thing is you guys, even through that actor strike, which was really tough, and writer strike, that you guys were still able to work, some still be able to do stuff with the fans because somehow you couldn't mention Little House for a while, but you did.
Right.
You still survived, right?
Well, right, you can't promote struck work, and because it was still streaming constantly everywhere and on air, it's like struck work. So it's like, okay, we can't. We did panels. Melissa Gilbert and Karen and I, we did a panel. It's like, okay, you can ask us all of these questions, but we can't say like the name of the show or be specific about any of these things. But then they were like, fine, can we ask you about your personal lives? We're like, yeah, and they were like, good, because that's what we want to know at this point. And we just went out and talked to people, and it was amazing.
Wow, that's crazy. Did you do any fun projects or develop some new ideas while you were in the penalty box?
I did. Because I was booked to do my one woman show, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, and I was heading out to New York, and they said, "What are you going to do?" So I did Confessions, the strike version. And there was no video, no mention of this show, no mention of this, no mention of this. And we talked about the strike, and we did question and answer. We did all these new things. It was absolutely crazy. And I did strike version. People said, I don't know, that was great. I'd watch that show. What that was. So we came up with whole new material. We did all kinds of new things. And then, of course, because certain independent films, if they agreed to everything that was in the strike request package, they were allowed to go ahead and film. So then now I go and I make a movie because it was a nice independent producer, not a studio.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think that what happened, I think that these shows live on more because of social media. Because
They do.
again, they share so many content. If I mention this right now, Little House, it'll show up on my Facebook probably 50 times today, when I go through my news feed. And then that's the thing, that these groups and these pages and people live on living through these characters and loving them. But you have a problem when you go out of town, as Harlan told me, that some of these people still really don't like you, right? When you go overseas and stuff, right?
I think people really suspended all disbelief and kind of like, but this is real. This is really happening. And which, as an actor, what is it we always say? I want people to believe this is real. This is a real person. I don't want. Yeah. What happens when you're playing Nellie Olson and that works? There are people who think it's real and they still are really angry about stuff I did when I was 12, pretending to be somebody else, which is a little bizarre, but people do. They still yell at me. I mean, in the old days, I had people threw things at me. They've stopped throwing things. I will give them big credit for that. They've stopped throwing things in my face. I'm very happy about that.
Oh man, that's crazy. So what was like your favorite thing to do? I mean, you mentioned you were like 12 when you got started on doing Nellie Olson. So that's kind of wild in itself, being so young. So what was it like? What was your favorite part about being on it and that kind of stuff? If you can take us back 15 years, not 50 years. But...
No, it's 50. It's 50. We know it's 50. In a way, because I liked villains. I had grown up in the business. So I luckily had some sense of the difference between fantasy and reality. So I went, no, I am playing the villain. This is excellent. I'm playing the villain. They're supposed to not like me. This is good. And I kind of took sort of a glee in that. It's like, oh, I'm the Grinch. I'm the bad guy. I'm the Wicked Witch. It's like, yes, we love that. So I took a lot of joy in playing the villain. And then, of course, since Melissa Gilbert and I became great friends day one, here we were mortal enemies and we were hanging out and having slumber parties at each other's house on the weekend. So that made it really, really fun. And I enjoyed it. I got to go to so many things, and I still do because of the show. But when the height of the show, I was in parade. You get to be in like the Hollywood Christmas parade and go to Toys for Tots. And I actually like doing all of those things.
And what about friends with other shows that were child actors? Did you have a lot of good bonds and relationships with them during that time?
We did it, and people always say, well, the Waltons. Yes, everybody from the Waltons and everybody from Little House on the Prairie. We are friends. We do all hang out together. We were different networks. We were the competition at the time. But as the years have gone on, we get invited to a lot of the same things. So the Waltons gang and the Prairie gang, we are friends, and an occasional Brady.
Why only occasional Brady?
An occasional Brady. I don't know. It's the Walton, the Brady, and then sometimes we get a Brady. It depends who's. It's very crazy. But yeah, the Waltons gang and the Prairie gang, we have a friendly competition, even with like the audio, the fan like appearances and the talkbacks and the autograph shows of like who got more people. We did one of those online games where we played trivia, and I'm pleased to say Little House absolutely beat the pants off the Waltons. We rule. Sorry.
Oh, that's crazy. So what's big on the plate for 2024?
Man, oh man. Okay. So January 19th, previews on the 18th, January 19th, that whole weekend and the next weekend, the 28th, I'm at the Sierra Madre Theater in Sierra Madre, California. Beautiful place, beautiful playhouse. And I'm going to be there and I will be doing my one-woman show. And there's lots of question and answer and audience participation. So you get tickets. It'll be awesome. And it's my birthday. It's completely crazy. I'm turning 62. How did that happen? I don't know. No, it's 15 years, right? Right. I'm not 62.
15,
and
right?
Then February, I'm off to St. Louis. There's a whole event there, a whole working women's conference. Then I'm back in France. And then, of course, the big weekend in March, the weekend of March 22nd, 23rd, is the big 50th reunion with pretty much the whole cast in Simi Valley, which is where we filmed the show. We're actually going to have like buses going up doing a tour of where the set was and all kinds of recreations and things, and the cast and memorabilia is going to be insane. So that's the big Simi Valley 50th reunion. And then we're going to Kentucky. We're going to think of Patty's 1800s settlement in Kentucky. And we're going all over the country. If you go to my Facebook, you go anywhere, you can see all these events. We're going to Branson in November. There's all these events for the whole year, all around the 50th anniversary. And in Walnut Grove in Minnesota. I mean, all of these places. Yeah, Independence, Kansas. It's pretty much, if it had a town that had anything to do with the Prairie, we're all going. We're all going because it's the 50th.
So talk about merch for you. Talk about how, okay, you're going to be at those events. Gimmicks
Right?
are huge. What's your big gimmicks? Your autograph pictures, or what else? What else are the things that people
Bonnets.
can go and then go see you?
Bonnets, man. I mean, I have my book, obviously. I autographed my book. I have my my book, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch. I have lots of lovely things. But during the height of the pandemic in 2020, when I was doing so, I was reading Little House books online. I was doing shows out of my living room. I have a show out of my living room actually January 14th. Stageit.com. You can see me in my living room. I was doing all these things totally on the internet, and people wanted bonnets. They wanted to read the books and wear a bonnet. And I was able to get some lovely bonnets from these lovely people in Walnut Grove, Minnesota. And so autographed 1800 style prairie bonnets for the true bonnet-headed fan are extremely popular. And I will have bonnets at all of these things. If you come to Sierra Madre, you come to Patty's 1800s, you come to Branson, you come to Simi Valley, you come to Walnut Grove, I will have bonnets. Yes.
Neil, would you like me to get you a bonnet?
I'd love to have a bonnet. Right. Yes. I mean, so
I'll get you a bonnet. What color? What color do you want? I will get you a bonnet. I will totally
I think
get you a bonnet.
pink. I think pink would look great.
Pink
It's
bonnet.
you.
On a nearly 7-foot man. Yes, I think that would be perfect.
Yes, but it keeps the sun off. It's really good in the summer. It does. What do you think? Everybody from the show, we all have good skin. It's bonnets keep the sun off. No UV damage.
Wow. So Neil, tell me about what this improv was last time. You guys did some improv. Let's see that again.
We did.
What was that all about?
We did. I was a British guy, which was terrible. Allison, give me my whole tip on this. Remember that? And then we were going
That's
to a
right. You were
bar.
trying to be British, and you were a terrible accent. It was.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was
Thank you
bad.
so much. But we did a British thing. I tried to pick her up in a bar, and
Yeah.
you were
Right.
you were being Nellie Olson, right?
We
An
were trying to
older-
like bad pickup lines and British guy trying to be suave, and how Nellie Olson would treat a man she did not like in a bar. And
Well,
he
I
thought
think
it was
I
hard.
think I give you
It
a,
was
I give
harsh,
you
man.
just like
You-
that you were some British woman that was at like just a regular bar hangout. I don't think we did
and I-
Nellie
you,
Olson.
yeah,
That
but
would have
you
been funny.
crashed
Why
and
don't
burned. It
do you
was
think Nellie
giving me
Olson's tough?
severe attitude.
Yeah, I have another plan. I'll
Yeah,
play
oh God,
myself as a
what?
pro wrestler this time in improv and challenge you to a match. Okay.
Oh,
And say
and that
you're going to be
makes
able
it-
to beat me. And is Nellie Olson going to be able to outthink Neil in the ring? And
Nellie,
Neil,
kind
the
of a
media
wrestler
giant Haley.
thing.
Okay. Because I am making a comeback into the ring in 2024. It might be at the end of 2024. I'm going to start getting in the ring and start training this month. Yeah.
Is that
and
dangerous?
start-
Is that
Yes, it's
dangerous?
dangerous,
young
but I don't
man's
care. I
game.
take a
It's
chance.
I'm just
I take
saying.
it. See, I used to be in the ring and back. I retired in 1999 in Bremen, Germany.
Wow.
Then I made 2 comebacks in the 2000s, but I let a couple years go by, Greg. You
Like
know,
25.
yeah, like 25 years. And now I'm like, let's do it. Because again, wrestling's
Ow.
changed. But and it's another part of the gimmick. Think about it. Logan Paul can win the heavyweight or win one of the titles, WWE. Ric Flair's making his 75th comeback.
Yeah, but I know
why
that you
can't
get to a certain age, it becomes heating pads and going to the
Yes,
chiropractor.
but let's
Start
talk
doing
about challenging you to a match, okay? And so
Okay,
Greg,
because Nellie was always like
sir,
a bad
you
wrestler.
view us.
When I would do
about
parades,
this-
I was like,
Yeah. So Greg,
okay.
you can be like Mean Gene Okerlund, Greg. So I'm putting you involved in this as well. And you're going to interview us both about the big match coming up. And we're going to say coming up in Kentucky, because I think Kentucky's your home. Let's
Like
say
Kentucky?
Ashland,
Like Kentucky?
Kentucky in March. Why are you challenging a woman to a match? And that's going to be the whole play. And she'll be Nellie Olson and I'll be Neil, the media giant Haley as a wrestler. Okay. Or
Ashland,
Big Neil.
Kentucky.
Ashland, Kentucky. I've wrestled in Ashland
Wow.
back in Halloween, back in 1998. Ashland, Kentucky had a big Halloween show. But go ahead, Greg. You're going to
Wow,
be
that's
the Mean
crazy.
Gene, so let's go.
So,
gonna be
so who
insane.
who are we? Who do we have? We got
You're going to be you're just like the play-by-play or the announcer that like announces and says and asks questions, almost like we're at a UFC event or certain things.
gotcha.
and
But what are the? I missed your names though.
No, it's Nellie Olson, and it's going to be Neil the
Nasty
Media
Nellie
Giant.
Olson,
I'm
man. If
playing
I was a
myself as a
wrestler, would I not be Nasty
Yeah, 'cause
Nellie
she-
Olson?
she
That would be
picked-
the
Nasty
Yeah.
Nelly and
that would be the name.
and
Just say Neil.
and
the
Neil
Media
the Giant.
Yeah, Neil the Media Giant Haley. All right, let's go.
That's right.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey everybody! I'm so excited to have with us today Nasty Nelly Olson and Neil the Media Giant.
Yes, 7 foot tall, Greg. And listen here, Greg, it's almost like I'm gonna say, Mean Gene. I don't care that I'm challenging a woman because I just was scared so much of Nellie Olson growing up and it was sad and crying. Now I can finally get my chance to take her out in the ring.
Well, that's
Sad.
incredible.
Really
Nelly, what do you think
sad.
about that?
Sad. Okay, bigger they are, harder they fall. He is going down. It is going to the sound when he hits the ground. I am telling you. Listen, I am calling Nasty Nelly for nothing. You are so going down. You're gonna fight a woman. Please, I'm more man than you'll ever be, and more woman than you can handle. You are going down. You are gonna be hitting that mat. That is it. You are gonna be dust on the prairie.
Oh, what do you say about that, Giant Neil?
So let's just talk about this. My career in wrestling, the people that I've defeated. Jerry the King Lawler, Rhino. I could just take, I've taken off 25 years just to have a match with you. You know, I challenged good old Riddick Bowe. Riddick Bowe chickened out. I've challenged the guy from The Voice. He's not answered my messages. Why do you think you could beat me? 7 feet tall. I'm going to choke slam you, and I'm going to have everyone cheering, even though you're supposed to be this loved little house on the prairie chick. I'm going to beat you up, and they'll cheer because they don't like you.
50 years of rage, man. 50 years of rage can beat 7 feet any day of the week.
50 years of rage. How tall are you, Nelly?
I'm a whopping 5'3" and 7/8.
Okay, there you go. You might have to get some high heels on, and you're going to have to probably cheat to beat me because the match will be over in, Greg, 2 minutes, right?
I'll bring a ladder. It's not that hard.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, but it's
going to be wearing a bonnet.
It's going to be the easiest match to win, Greg. And you know what? Promoters out there, if you really want to book this, it probably would draw a lot of money. 7 feet versus Nelly Olson, because guess what? I try to teach people in branding all the time is my brand was just being tall. I wrestled King Kong Bundy, the Bushwhackers.
Your brand was being
Roberts.
Tall? Seriously?
Yeah. So they would go ahead and put me on the main event poster against the Star. Well, guess what? I just decided to go after some actress that couldn't take me in 2 seconds so I could finally win. How's that, Greg?
Greg, I'm sorry. This man is going to go home crying in his bonnet.
Oh,
That's a perfect improv. Again, we got tickets on sale now. Ashland, Kentucky, as I take you out.
Now I'm gonna get calls. They're gonna do you wrestle? Here's the weird part. I actually in high school took weightlifting, wrestling, and golf. I actually did take wrestling for like 5.5 minutes. Like half.
That's you get your 5.5 minutes as I get training. But for wrestling promoters out there, want to book that match? No. Greg will make it happen. No. It'll be sponsored by Toss C3.
Oh, no.
So make sure tossc3.com match. Oh, trust me. I put over, here's a story for you guys, and I'll go right back to Greg as Greg's going to ask his final question, which is one that will kind of get away from this. But I went ahead and put over a high school guy in one of the shows, got paid, said, screw it. I made him look like, I almost said her. I made him look like he was $1 million, put him over at the end of the match, and that was it. It's really easy. And I guess I'd have to be the heel. Do you think people would cheer for you now?
It would be interesting because I would be. My tradition is the villain. And I remember at the height of the show when I'd be in parades, I kind of thought about the wrestling villains because I used to watch wrestling as a kid. And so the kind of like cartoon villainy thing of some wrestlers, I think could work for the whole like Nelly persona. And people could get into this, me's the bad guy. But you're right, people kind of like me now. So that you might be the one getting booed. I don't know.
I'm sure I'll get the one getting booed. That's what I love. I love being heel. You think I'm going back to a baby face with these hicks in Kentucky and Ashland, Kentucky? Are you kidding me? These hicks, no teeth. Come on now.
He just picked on Kentucky people. How many times I've been to Kentucky? You know, I go to Kentucky. You know,
I know. I'm just doing
trashing Kentucky. Did I trash Kentucky? I did not, because I like Kentucky. Yeah. I am the Duchess of Paducah. Did you know I'm the Duchess of Paducah, Kentucky? I did an event in Paducah, Kentucky.
I used to work in Paducah as well.
They gave me a little thing. I am the Duchess of Paducah. I did Kentucky, man. But yeah, here's what's crazy. You've now spoken this like into being, as they say now. You've like put this out there, and someone is going to call and say like, "Oh, can you guys wrestle? Can we have you wrestle?" Oh my God!
I would literally train you. I would literally train you, and you wouldn't have to take any bumps. We could have a nice 3-minute match, and you could just defeat me with some cheating move, and they'll all cheer for you, and they would draw all this money. You never know about wasting money.
Absolute. Horror. Look at the money.
All right, Greg, go ahead and ask the final question, the celebrity question.
Normal. I've been talking to this lunatic here for 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you as Allison, though, not as Nelly Olson.
Okay, I'll get you a bonnet. I'll get you both bonnets. You're both getting bonnets.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so Allison, here's a question for you. It's so important. I always ask everyone that I have the pleasure of meeting on our show. Here it is. So Allison, tell me, what do you feel is the most important thing in life you've ever learned?
Well, it's always been to try to make the world a better place than like when I got her, leave it a little better than when you came. You can't fix everything in the world, but you can do something. It may be one act of kindness, it may be one word to someone, it may be one tiny thing. I mean, you wouldn't think that having been Nellie Olson that you could raise thousands of dollars for charities that desperately need the money and like help thousands of people. But then I did. And that's the thing is you can do where you live, everyone, there's a food bank. There's a food bank you could donate to or volunteer at. There is something in your neighborhood that you could be doing that helps other people, that improves the world. Don't be a waste of oxygen. Do something to make the world better, however tiny, however small it is that you can do in your own community.
Our guest is New York Times bestselling author, Emmy Award winner, Carolyn Hennessy. Carolyn, thanks for stopping by. And we had a funny conversation talking soap operas, but today I'm going to jump into a different direction. I'm going to go talk about a lot of your philanthropic and Crazy Mama. But let's first talk really quickly and allow Greg to ask a couple questions before we get to those topics. Go ahead, Greg. What would you like to ask?
Exciting. I like that idea. Philanthropic. You know, Neil mentioned that you love animals. I have to hear a bit about that.
More than humans. We'll see how you stack up in just a few moments, Greg. We'll see how you stack up against, the lions and the tigers and the bears. So yes, I love animals. Love them.
Awesome. That's great. So do you have a charity of your own around animals, or are there particular ones that you like? Or?
Yes. No, I don't have one yet that has got my name on it. Oh, look, there's my landscape architect in the background. Yay. It's out of right outside of Chiang Mai in Thailand. She does amazing work with some of the Maine, which is the oldest animal and children rescue welfare organization in the United States. And I'm an ambassador for them, and I'm an ambassador for my Los Angeles of the modern zoos and aquariums. We don't cotton to those, but the modern zoos that are our last arcs of preservation, we have to keep those going and supported and funded and wonderfully attended. So I love those three things especially, but I also love my local Burbank Animal Shelter.
Oh, that's perfect. And do you have any domestic pets of your own?
3 dogs. I had 4 for the longest time, and I lost one of my my little pups last August. But I still have my senior 3 and my senior cat. So I've got Liza Jane, Sophie Tucker, and Arbuckle, and Buster the Wonder Cat.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
Greg, tell about your dog. Go ahead.
Oh, Teddy, my boy. Oh, well, Teddy's the love of my life. His my 3rd Teddy. So Theodore Maximilian Hannah the 3rd. We had the original, the junior.
To live up to. That's
I know.
Lot to live up to.
He is $1 million pup. He's amazing. So I got him from this amazing place in Texas called Heidelberg, USA. And the reason I selected them is I was doing some research. My beautiful Teddy, who was the biggest shepherd I had ever seen, his chest would go right at the table when we were having lunch. And he was an amazing dog, but he passed away when we moved in 2019. It was a horrible, well, you know what it's like. So we found Max the 3rd at this place in Texas. So we flew down to Texas and put him on the jet and brought him back. And it is just amazing. It's my human son is incredible.
Yeah. Their family and the people who treat dogs just like dogs do not understand. Hopefully they have the capacity to understand and will somehow come to an understanding that they are so much smarter than we give them credit for. They're so much more intuitive. They know when you're down. They have their emotions, their feelings. They simply can't speak. No. They simply cannot speak. So we have to voice for them. And
that's right.
That's our job.
That's right. And anybody who ever says that, animals don't have souls, that's because they've never really seen the animal. It's
they may also not have souls themselves. What? Who said that? I did. There you go.
And would you say, so you're at one point you would like to do your own foundation, or you just partner with different ones?
Love to. Yeah, I'd love to be in charge so that I can be, even though Elephant Nature Park, American Humane, my zoo, I know where pretty much 99 cents of every dollar goes, whereas there are certain other organizations who shall remain nameless, but I can tell you afterwards off air and you can post a list. 2 cents goes to the animals. 5 cents goes to the animals. And that's spread out over countrywide, over many, many of the local organizations of this particular, whatever the Humane Service is. But I know where the money goes with these. And so, yeah, would I like to have a philanthropic organization where I know where every penny goes? You bet. You bet. So I can dictate it, I can direct it to the worst of the worst, where I see fit, and give some here and give some to this project. And, my zoo is involved in so many worldwide, international conservation efforts that, and you can, if you donate to my zoo, you can say, I want this to go to, the lowland gorillas. I want this to go to feed, the scimitar horned oryx. I want it to go there. So yeah, I'd love to be able to give a little here and give a little there.
So
Big
what's the
word.
big difference between like a modern, as you said, modern zoo compared to like the older zoos? I won't go to zoos for years because last time I went was to San Diego and it was horrible. So
No. Well, I
Yeah.
don't know when you went. I don't know when you went. So we'll just we'll hope. Well, maybe
it was
it's
a long time ago.
way back.
Way
It's
back,
not
yeah.
that San Diego Zoo is now. That's the Big Mac Daddy. That's almost the gold standard now.
Nice.
The enclosures are more habitat specific. They're no longer cement cages. Diets are, natural habitat specific. Positive reinforcement training, when there is training that needs to happen, which is there's no fear or threat based training that ever happens. And that's, by the way, that's everyone should, train, keep their domestics with positive reinforcement training. And a wonderful book on that is called Zoomility, Tales of Keeper Training, by a man named Gray Stafford. And you can train anything from an elephant to a dung beetle. Expanded natural habitats, interaction with keepers who love and care for them, cross species, what's I'm the word I'm looking for is the trade between zoos, so that species are kept, it's not just the kind of the mix of the gene pool, all the otters came from the same mother and now they're going to keep breeding and breeding. No, it's transporting from zoo to zoo, the communication that now goes on zoo to zoo, the internet, the electronic, in an instant, an animal's history, an animal's what their specific medication needs are. If something is coming from, the Bronx Zoo to Los Angeles, they've got all of that information. What the needs are, what the requirements are, international cooperation, all of these go into making modern zoos and aquariums. One of the best aquariums in the world is the Georgia Aquarium. And their exhibits are massive. They're huge. And it's, again, it's a crown jewel, but go back to the San Diego Zoo or come out here and I'll take you to the Los Angeles Zoo.
Well, that'd be great. 1993 is the last time I went there.
Oh,
So
well, yes. It's 30 years, 31 years? No, long way. Yeah.
When I was at the San Diego Zoo, it's dating even younger. I think I was like 9 or 8 years old and I'm 51. So it's been a while since I was at San Diego Zoo. Yeah, definitely a while. And I remember being on the camel, riding a camel in the San Diego Zoo at like 8 years old. I went to a San Diego Clippers game. So this is really dating things, right?
Wow.
And they beat the Los Angeles Lakers and the San Diego Clippers, and they had a very I think Bill Walton played in that game. So go figure. That's dating things of what I and I'm 51. I'm saying all this, but all right. So kind of let's jump into Crazy Mama.
Sure.
We had a great conversation with Anson about it, and this project's got to feel great for you to be part of it. It's such a great story, and to be able to get on to do theater. That's
I do theater as much as I possibly can. Anyway, as again, theater in Los Angeles is not the great black hole that a lot of people in New York or sometimes even in Los Angeles think it is. Some brilliant shows can be found here. But this Crazy Mama is I'm sure Anson already told you, but I will tell you that it is his new wife, Sharon. It's her story. And it comes from her as yet unpublished memoir. This is a large chunk of it. And it's Crazy Mama, Tales of Love and Madness. I don't know what is happening. So sorry. Just let me just.
No. Oh, we
I
don't
don't-
see anything.
You can't hear the ding?
No.
Well, never
We're
mind.
good.
I'll utterly ignore it then.
Ding, ding. Keep going.
Ding, no ding. It's the story. The story starts, and it's basically a 79-page monologue. It's a one-woman show, where I will play her and 12 other characters.
Wow.
With a 15-minute act break and a guitarist off to the side. And it basically, the story starts when she's just turned 8 years old, and she comes, the school bus drops her off. She goes racing up her hill, skidding into her kitchen, hoping to get that last slice of 8-year-old birthday cake, eight birthday cake from the day before. And her mom is standing in the kitchen and has become, in the space of basically the morning, as far as she's concerned, at the age of 8, schizophrenic and violent. And at the top of the play, I say, if you had been paying attention, you could see that there were cracks that ran miles ahead of the break. But at the age of 7.5, 6, 8, you don't see those as a child. So to her, it happened like that. And it's the next 2-3 years of her life with the one aunt that she can't stand, the one aunt that she loves, her father slowly kind of, losing his grip because he is in such depression and despair. Her brother, what's their relationship like? What's she going to see her mom in this sanitarium, in this asylum? And everything that she goes through as an 8-year-old, just wanting her mom back. That's about, I would say that's about 5/8 of the play. It's about 3/4 of the play. The last quarter of the play is her as an adult, then going back to see her mom, because the schizophrenia, the voices, the suicide attempts, none of that took her mom. What is ultimately taking her mom is the emphysema, because her mom never gave up cigarettes. And so the last, I would say, quarter of the play is her sitting by her mom's bedside as this disease slowly takes the life out of her mom, but them healing, coming to grips, coming to terms. Old wounds are mended. And she realizes that her mom is, for the most part, very lucid in these moments. And then she understands that the mother's nurses in the hospital have been putting this antipsychotic medication in her IV drip, whereas for the mother's almost entire life before, she had been spitting the medication out. So that's why she was continuing to be plagued by voices and demons. And so one of the morals of the play is the medication works if you take it. And so now she had no choice but to take it. So now so much could be healed and repaired. And she said it was the last, those 2 weeks were the greatest 2 weeks of her life. And so hopefully we can get that across. It's a wonderful treatise on understanding mental illness and understanding.
I totally do. It's just, can't wait to when you perform that. I think that Anson talked about it. It's not till when is the performance?
April 12th.
April.
Yeah.
In Bethel Woods. So basically 3 months from now. 3 months from now.
It'll be here before you know it. Time just
Yeah.
flies too fast. That's for sure. Now, Greg has his final question, but I definitely love the whole aspect of really understanding mental illness and understanding that we can heal the brain, and we have to really more and more look to taking care of that mental illness and really make it a huge. It's yeah.
And getting the people who need help, getting them that help. It's not just. I mean. Are there policies in place? I don't know. Are there medical policies in place? I mean,
No.
you know what I mean? It's like
this really needs to be a big reform that has to happen. It totally, especially for kids. All right, go ahead, Greg, with your final question.
Wow, I'm so uplifted now after that, non-depressing discussion about Crazy Mama. No, that's amazing. That's going to be so good. You know, real quickly, I read a book by Dr. Perlmutter, I believe his name was, The Grain Brain. And he talks about the effects of sugar and carbs and all that stuff, that they are kind of linking back towards Alzheimer's and all these other horrible diseases. So that's just something that I just thought of when
Well,
you were.
you know, yeah, because again, all grain, all alcohol, it's all sugar based. And so this year for Christmas, I had a huge out here in Los Angeles. You guys come out next year. It's a big old candy party. Nothing
Nice.
but candy, and nothing but, and then some booze. So at the very end of it, I try and give as much away as possible. But I just realized, in fact, I woke up this morning and I went, I still have a lot of that candy left over. I've got to get rid of that. Not through the pie hole. I actually have to get rid of it because, you know, you don't want to, I don't want that grain brain sugar fog. So
Yeah, exactly. Well,
We're going to
fantastic.
stay in touch for sure. All right, Greg, go
So
ahead.
this is it's been a real pleasure. I've really enjoyed speaking with you,
too.
Carolyn. Nice to meet you.
Love to your dog.
Oh, thank you. So I always ask our guests this question. It's for me, you know, selfishly, so I can better improve myself. But for those people who hopefully have the opportunity to listen to you and to watch this show, so tell me, Carolyn, what do you feel is the most important thing in life you've ever learned?
Oh, it's very simple. It's my mantra on a set, and it's my mantra off a set. And that is, my job is to make everyone else's job easier. But I can only do that when I am full up to the brim. Sometimes, you know, you don't have to be full, but it's like, if they hire me if you hire me as a friend, if you hire me as an actor, if you hire me as you know what I mean? It's like, if I'm in your world, then I know that I've got you trust me enough to be that for you. Therefore, my job is to make your job easier. Also, there is always room for everyone at all times at the top, period. And don't take anything personally, because nobody, you know, they don't know you.
I'm excited to welcome the host of the Love This podcast, Kim Sorrell. Kim, how are you? And know you're excited about our guest.
I'm doing great, Neil. Thank you. Hope you are too. And yes, I'm so excited. Cynthia Geary. I have been a fan for years. Northern Exposure, one of my favorite shows of all time. But everything I've seen you in, you are just outstanding. You're just amazing. And you have a daughter who plays volleyball. That's kind of near and dear to my heart. I coached volleyball for a lot of years. So, Cynthia, welcome to the show. Today, we're going to talk about your new series, Going Home. Fairly new. Second season is about to air, but it's amazing. And you are amazing, Cynthia. Welcome to the show.
Oh, well, thank you, Kim. I mean, what a great introduction. You've made my day, my week. You know, thank you very much.
Yeah, well, I'm so excited to hear about everything with you, anything with you. Going Home is so impactful. I am just in awe of the show. I think it's so important and so relevant. What is it like for you to be on that series?
Well, thank you again. I feel the same way. I feel so lucky and grateful to have been asked to play this role. It really is an amazing, and as you said, impactful show. I read the show creator, Dan Merchant, sent me the first 6 scripts before I agreed to do the show. And I'm reading this blown away. I'm crying. And it's been so much more than I could have ever imagined shooting this show. I've learned so much about myself. People come on and share their experiences with hospice, and it's completely changed, maybe the wrong word, because I don't know if I really thought about death. I mean, we try not to. And I was pretty fortunate to not have a lot of death in my life. My father just happened to pass away at 92 in October. But honestly, I've been so blessed with not having to deal with death. And through this show, it's just given me hope and taken away the fear. It's
Right.
it's a transition, and it's something that we're all going to experience. And if I can help people through this show, you know, talk about it and talk with their loved ones and their family members and make it something that's peaceful and beautiful. I mean, what a gift.
Totally. So let's talk about specifically the premise of the show and your character.
Okay. Well, the premise of the show is it's about a hospice, and the show is based on Hospice of Spokane, Washington. That's where we shoot in Spokane, and I've met with the nurses, and our show creator Dan Merchant spent a lot of time with Hospice of Spokane, really trying to get it right. And we most of the stories come from true stories, and my character, Charlie Copeland, is the head nurse at Sunset House, which is our fictional hospice. And one of the things I love so much about Charlie is that she's complicated, and it's not all, you know, she's not perfect. Although I think hospice nurses have a calling. I mean, they are truly incredible, amazing people. And Charlie is amazing at what she does, and she's so kind and so caring and really intuitive, and really wants to find what it is each person needs when they come into the hospice. But her outside life is not perfect, and she's got her own issues. And one of the things I love about second season is we actually follow Charlie and Cozy Zusseldorf's character, Janie, outside of the hospice. So you get to see a little more of our personal lives outside of the hospice. We even have love interests. So that's something new and fun. I'm hoping that our audience will enjoy in second season.
I'm sure that that's true. I'm excited to hear that, because watching the first season, you do have a complicated character, very complex, so much going on, and dealing with stuff that you kind of keep hidden, and other things that kind of get exposed and whatever. So to see what Charlie is like outside of those doors is going to be fascinating and wonderful. Great idea, whoever Dan came up with it or whatever, but great idea. What has changed in your mind? Like, so you lost your dad. I'm so sorry, by the way, that you lost your dad.
Thank you.
But death is so different, I think, than we think it is when we haven't dealt with it before.
It is. And my father was in memory care, and I am, again, I'm so grateful I was able to be there the last week of his life and be with him. And he had an amazing life. He's, as I said, 92, and my father just was one of the best humans I know. And for his memorial service, there were 500 people. I mean, like, people lined out the street because he was a giver, and just impacted so many people's lives. And I'm so very proud of that, and honored to be his daughter. As I haven't had a lot of experience with hospice, I haven't had a lot of death in my family, but I know that if it's an option for me or a loved one, I will absolutely go that route. I just, the peace that hospice nurses give families, and the time they give them to just focus on what's important. And I did find that with the nurses we dealt with at his memory care and at the hospital. I mean, they're just, I mean, it's a calling. What they give their patients and their families and their loved one is the opportunity to spend quality time together and not have to deal with the nitty gritty and the dirty, you know, changing diapers and things like that. We get to focus on what's important and saying, I love you.
You know, and I listened to you. I lost my father about 5 years ago, and it seems like yesterday still. And my
Yeah,
condolences to you. But
thank you.
thinking about what people that are on the front lines doing these jobs, especially hospice, and then having to turn it off to go home. It's so difficult. And I think that's probably why they're showing a home life now this season, to see that it's not easy to turn off your job, especially when you're doing such a service, such a tremendous thing, but yet your heart goes so into it, right? That's the
Oh,
hard part. Like your heart, your soul. When I was a teacher, the same thing. My heart would go out to these kids, or I would fighting them as an educational advocate. I felt that same thing. I couldn't shut it off when I came home sometimes.
right.
Mm.
Neil, I agree. And it's, I, I think you'll see in our show, I mean, that's one of Charlie's issues is she, you know, it is really she's so alive when she's in hospice and she's so in tune with giving to those people, but she gets away from it and she kind of closes off and shuts off. And I I do think it takes so much out of you to be a teacher, to be a nurse, to be a hospice care worker, and they give so much of themselves that a lot of times their personal lives do suffer.
Yeah, I would think that they would, and it would be very hard because there is something special about hospice nurses. I love it that you call it a calling because I think that that's true. I think you got to be called to work with people who are close to death. And then one thing that the show really shows that I also think is so real life is that they truly care about every individual patient and family. It's not like just another number in the book or just another person filling a bed, but they truly care about the human being. And I think that's so special. I love that about it.
It is true. And I love Dan is we made a point of bringing a little more humor into the show this season. And we do have in the first episode, you'll see a new nurse come in who really doesn't fit and doesn't get that it is that about spending time and care and every person. She comes from the ER and she's sort of like, you know, move them out, get them out, and it doesn't work. And I think it highlights the fact that this really is a calling, and the people who do this work and do it so beautifully, I'm in awe and I'm amazed that what they can do. And there's no judgment about the person. I mean, their goal is to give them this peaceful transition and to find out what is it that they need in these last hours, days, weeks of their life. I mean, what do they need closure with family members? Do they need to resolve issues? And that's what their hospice care workers are trying to discover and find out and give them the place and the space to do that.
You think about the feedback you were able to receive so far from the show going into the second season. Your fans, that's got to be great, right? To feel that you're making a difference in their lives, because especially ones that are going to have to go through this at one point in time, right?
Absolutely. I do. And I think, I mean, we're all going through it and in some way or another. I mean, we are going to be faced with death over and over and over again and with our loved ones. And so I think the more that we think about it ahead of time, which I'm guilty of being one who never did, and think about what we really want and how you want to handle that. It's really smart and it's a gift so that you can make the most of that time.
Yeah, and it is such a gift for families to have hospice available. My husband passed away several years ago, and we had the greatest hospice who was just ready on call at any moment and so compassionate and did go above and beyond when it came to my family, like being there for my kids, and it didn't end when my husband died.
Mhm.
And you show that too, which I think is valuable.
Yeah, it really, I found the same thing with my father. Some of the nurses that cared for him came to his memorial service, and then we saw them afterwards, and they're checking on my mother to see how she's doing. I mean, it's just incredible.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited to talk to our guest today.
Absolutely. The winner of The Voice season 24, Huntley. Huntley, thanks for stopping by. And it's got to feel so real to be the winner, right? It's a
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I mean, it definitely is surreal. I haven't really been able to go and celebrate with my family yet, so it's crazy, man. Like I can't. It really doesn't even feel like it's happened yet. I keep on opening my phone and just seeing on Google like all these articles, you know, The Voice season 24 winner, and just seeing my picture and how surprised I looked, and I'm just like, did that happen? It's like it's insane.
for sure. Go ahead.
That's totally crazy. Hey, two real quick questions, just out of curiosity. When did you decide you wanted to be on The Voice, and when did you decide that you were going to win The Voice?
I would say, you know, the way I was discovered was, you know, through a video that I had 500 views on, you know, and I've tried so many times to get on these shows, and, you know, I've had some success, but never aired, or, you know, no, I never got any airtime of me playing. And, you know, this time, you know, I actually was semi-discovered, you know, actually by one of the casting people who said she's never had someone make it, you know, past the blinds. And, you know, and that's what she's told me. And, you know, it's been a pretty crazy journey since then. And not one step of this way did I ever think that I was winning this thing, dude.
Really?
Like, I mean, I don't know if you've
Cool.
watched this season, like if you actually have, or if you're just seeing who the winner is, but this whole season has a way bigger story and way bigger picture to it than just me winning. I mean, the talent, the level this season was unbelievable. So I am very proud that I did win this season, because the amount of talent that was here was, I mean, crazy. I mean,
You know,
can't
and it's
believe it.
interesting to give people not to give up. 500 views. You know how many people want to go viral social media wise? I'm going to ask a social media question now. This is the fun thing about, you know, interviewing somebody and hearing what question, how they answered it. 500 views. A lot of people give up, right, in their music, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, am I ever going to go viral? Anything going to happen? I don't even want to know how many views you have now, man. We're not going to even talk about it, Mr.
I mean,
Virality, but yeah,
it's insane. Yeah, I mean, I literally was. I mean, you know, I would say I'm old, but I'm definitely not TikTok generation, you know, worthy, you know. And I feel like, you know, I try to get on TikTok, and which I felt silly doing, you know, just because I'm such an old soul that I like, you know, I'm ready. I'm definitely more the touring guy and writing music and getting into the studio guy. But the whole social media TikTok world is just something that, like, I'm just not. You know, Jackie Rohr always makes fun of me, and she says my phone's always dead, that I hate my phone, because I am that guy, you know. But I try to get on TikTok, and I was getting 50 views a video, and I had 1,111 people. Literally, that was my number before I started this. And now I'm up to, I think, 174,000 on TikTok right now. And my views are having like millions of views. And it's like, I've never really been like a, you know, oh, I got likes or I got views. But the messages from people saying how inspiring this whole story has been for them, and how they're watching it with their sons or their daughters, or their son has long hair and he just like to wear it, you know, long, that you make him feel like he can be proud of his hair. Like that kind of stuff just resonates with me, man. You know, it's just like, it's way bigger than just me winning The Voice.
You know,
That's amazing.
Greg, I want to bring up, did you know I had long hair before, Greg?
You did not have any
Yes,
hair.
yes, I did long hair. I'll have to send you pictures of my days in professional wrestling when I had long hair. Yeah, I
I
had
got
long
to see that.
Undertaker and stuff. So, but guess what happened?
Speaking of professional wrestling, I feel like they've been trying to get me a WWE contract this whole time. He calls me the Undertaker. I think he called me another wrestler name. I can't remember, but then they had the Triple H in the background.
Oh, wow. So I'm a former minor league pro wrestler. Is looking to make a comeback in 2024. I'm 50 years old, will be 51. But I wrestled with The Rock. I wrestled with the Bushwhackers. I wrestled with the Headbangers down south during the Attitude Era. Oh, so you're a pretty big guy. How tall are you, Huntley? And then I'm going to let Greg have his next question.
Yeah, I'm 6'3". So
Okay.
that's why I thought it was pretty funny that he said I'd be Undertaker and he'd be Rey Mysterio, because we also connected to that. We both were early wrestling fans growing up. I was a big wrestling fan. Hulk Hogan was my guy.
Oh,
I
wow.
still have his stuffed animal, like the big version of him.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, that's crazy. Well, but, hey, before I get to the next question, Neil's a legit 6'10". Just
Yeah.
want to throw that out there.
Oh, you're 6'10"?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's so awesome.
So let me ask you, in the knockout round, Huntley, you picked Wanted Dead or Alive, John Bon Jovi's take on that. And what made you pick that song? And, tell me about that.
If I was going to be honest, they asked us to pick songs, that we wanted to do. And like we had, I think it was like 5 song choices. And I honestly, I think that I'm more of a songwriter and I like recording songs that I write. That the cover songs, I felt so weird picking like songs to do. Like I felt like I was having the hardest time. And honestly, I was going down the list of songs I had cleared for the show. And I got to, it was the last song that I put on my list. And as soon as I played the intro and that guitar went on, me and my buddy Bias, who was also on the show, looked at each other and I was like, I have to put this on there. Like, this would be so cool if I did this before even I'm a big fan of Bon Jovi, but like, I've never sang the song before ever. So the fact that and then of course the one song I didn't know that I put on the list gets called and I'm like, uh-oh. I was like, now I can't sound karaoke on it, so.
Yeah,
Wow.
you crushed it.
Yeah.
My family in Jersey, my family back in Jersey that, my mom's side's all from Jersey. They were pumped.
Wow. And when you talk about that and picking a song and singing another song, what are your goals music wise? Where do you want to go from here after winning it?
I think, I did showcase that I could do a lot of different styles of music. I definitely would really like to release, music as soon as I can. But touring, maybe with an act that already has a staple, I would like to learn, first, I'm kind of coming in this as like, a 33-year-old rookie. And I just would love to kind of learn first and then just add it to my knowledge that I've even gained here on the show and seeing what really it means to put on a show. And I think that they've shown me what a Huntley show looks like, especially that last one, getting shot up to the ceiling by some rockets and like, having the whole band up there and the backup singers. And, I think that it's really important to me to rebirth rock and roll a lot. I know I played a lot of those like commercial songs, like Way Down We Go and Daylight, but I think that like I really do want to bring some real rock and roll back first. Like I really want to bring some like even though I have that southern grit and growl to my voice, it can kind of be added to any genre of music. And I think that people are dying for some rock and roll, not just here in America, like all around the world. And that's just what I've noticed from the support that I've gotten.
Well, who are your favorite rockers, growing up or listening to now, or who do you go back to?
I'm definitely I'm really kind of stuck in the past, but definitely Chris Cornell, Joe Cocker, definitely Lenny Kravitz. Sebastian Bach. There's a lot of guys on that list that, Steven Tyler, he was my very first big no, but Steven Tyler, that guy definitely influenced me a lot. But I would say really, I've always just been drawn to the feeling of a song. And I've never really been obsessed with any singers. I've never been like, oh, I'm going to try to sound like that guy. It's just like, it's the way I sing and the guys that I've grown up to loving. I think they definitely influence my voice.
All right. So Greg has a question he asks all the celebrities. And I now you're probably saying, I'm a celebrity. You are a celebrity now. So there you go. But go ahead, Greg, with your question.
All right, Huntley. It's been amazing talking to you, and thanks for taking the time to stop by here at Celebrity Interviews live from the Grotto. And tell me, what is the most important thing in life you feel you've ever learned?
That family comes first, no matter what.
Cool.
Powerful answer. That's a powerful answer.
Very powerful.
Can you give us a little bit of the why?
Because no matter what's going on, like right now, what I accomplish is so amazing, but it's a TV show, man. You know what I mean? Like my career is going to be amazing, but at the end of the day, if I don't have my daughter and my son and their families with me, like at the end of this, if I don't have my family with me, it's not going to matter, and even sitting here at this hotel right now and like I won, all my friends that were on the season are gone. All the voice contestants are gone. And I'm here in this hotel all by myself. Like, the main thing in life is that you find the things that make you happy in life. And if my family's not there and it's not doing justice for my family, then it has no business being around me.